learned about web application. We did one of the attack of web application SQL injection. We did it both the ways, manual way and automated way, right? So did you guys practice the task I gave you? Have you guys tried on that application? Anyone? So how do I get to know about this? Okay, in case you guys have not done it because of system issue or you have not understood, we have already shared. I think Ikshita has the recording of it. She'll share the recording with you. You can watch that session again and you can perform it. In today's session, I'll also tell you how you can set up your operating system, Kali Linux and all
I
other
can
things.
if you want.
So Ikshita is
Recording
saying
was
something.
not given access to us.
All right. So you can connect with Ikshita. She'll share the recording with you. Don't worry. Okay. So in today's session, we'll continue with the web application attack first, and then we'll be covering up the server part. Okay. So likewise, in yesterday's session, we did SQLi, SQL injection. In today's session, we'll be also looking for one of the more attack, OTP bombarding, and we also call it no rate limit. So in yesterday's session, I was again and again telling you about the verb suite. That if you want to go into web application attack, if you want to go for web application pen testing, worksuite is one of the tools which you should know, which you should aware of, which you should know how we can use worksuite. Because every particular attack which you want to perform on web application, worksuite plays a very important role for that. So in today's session, we'll also be learning worksuite as well as we'll be performing the attack using the worksuite. Okay. After that, we'll be coming over to the server part. In server part, I'll tell you how you can set up the lab, how you can set up the environment, how you can set up the environment, and how you can practice on your own self-learning. Okay. So it requires a lot of things. It requires virtual machine VMware. It requires your virtual machines. It requires your operating Kali Linux operating system. It requires your Windows operating system. So I'll share the all the links, all the resources, how you can set up your machine and everything. And then we'll be also attacking one of the server. Okay, not a live server. We have the machine set up. We'll be attacking that server, and then in that particular server, we'll be taking the remote connection. Like so, somewhere server is running. We have the IP address. We'll be attacking on that server, and we'll take the reverse connection, and then we can read all the files, all the data from that particular server. We'll be taking the root access. Okay, so let's start from today's session. First of all, to learn about web application, burp is one of the tools. Now, what is burp exactly doing? What burp does, whatever request you are sending from your browser to server, you can read that request. For example, first of all, this is how your burp looks like. This is your burp. Okay, how we start burp, how you can download burp, I'll tell you that all the things. First of all, this is your burp. In burp, we have different tabs. We have target tab, proxy tab, spider tab, scanner, intruder, repeater. All these are tabs. Now these tabs works different ways. Every tab has some different purpose. Every tab has some different feature. The main important tab, the first tab when you start burp, is the proxy tab which we use. Okay, in proxy tab we have different sub tabs. In proxy tab we have something we call intercept, and here we have again four options: intercept, on, off, forward. These are the two tabs which we use most of the time. Okay, intercept on and forward the request. Now for example, as I'm telling you that whatever request you're sending from your browser to the server, what does burp do? Burp intercept that request and read that particular request. So burp is basically sitting in between. Like as let's say two friends are talking to each other, or you have a teacher and you are a student. There is a student in between. We have a class representative. So you have any query, you tell the class representative. Class representative take that. Your CR takes that request to their teacher. Then teacher tells something to CR. CR gives a response to you. Right. So request and response. Whatever communication is happening between browser and server, burp can read that request. Okay, so we'll be using burp suit. While using burp suit, I'll be teaching you about the burp suit. Okay, by that time also we'll be learning about the attack which we call OTP bypass. Now, what do you mean by this OTP bypass? OTP bypass means any website which is using your phone number for login purpose. There are so many websites these days, they don't ask for your ID password. No, they don't want that. They don't want to store any of your data. What they do, they say, okay, you come, you want to log in our website, you give us your phone number. Okay, we'll send you the OTP. They'll send the OTP, you enter the OTP, whatever 4-digit OTP they send you hit enter and you're logged into the application. Now, what if you are able to figure out what is that OTP, or you perform something that you don't require the OTP, or you do something that you enter the wrong OTP and you are still able to log in into the application? So basically, you want to bypass that OTP option over there, right? So there are different ways, different techniques, different methods that totally depends upon how your application is responding. We perform this attack. Today, we'll be seeing live attack, how we can perform this OTP bypass. Okay. Now to perform OTP bypass, first of all, you need to understand the how application is running, what is happening inside the application. Okay. We have one application over here. Now, if I want to log in into this application, what I have to do, I have to just click on login button. Now it is saying that enter your phone number. Anyone would like to share their phone number so that we can see in the live scenario? Anyone volunteering? Any volunteer who wants to share? Or you want me to use a random number?
I would like to share.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
My name is Saurabh Nayak. I would like to share.
Again, Saurabh, your voice is not audible.
Hello, is it audible now?
Yes, it is audible now.
Yeah, so 788
1 second, I'll write it over there. 78
87
87
43
43
96
9
6
6
87.
87.
Yeah.
788 74 39 6 87. Okay. Now we enter a phone number. We click on next. Now see, as soon as I clicked on next, what happened? This application has sent an OTP onto this particular number, Saurabh's number, right? This application has sent an OTP on Saurabh's number, but I don't know what is the OTP they have sent. I have no idea. I want to figure that out. So what we do, whatever this application is sending, there is a request which is being sent onto the server. Server is sending the OTP now. So when I click on next, the request is being generated. It goes to the server and server is sending an OTP to Saurabh's phone number. I want to see that request, whatever request is. I have used burp suit for that. Okay, so whatever request your browser is sending onto the server, we use burp suit to intercept that request and read that particular request. So for that, we have to connect our browser to burp suit. How we do that? There are proxy settings which we have to do. I'll teach you that later on. For now, I have already connected burp suit with our browser. Very easy to connect, not any hassle thing to connect. Very simple to attack. 2-3 steps and you will be able to connect burp suit with your browser. Okay, both are connected now. Now, intercept is off right now. This means that whatever communication your browser is doing with the server, burp suit has nothing to do with it. We are not capturing any of the request. Okay, what if I'll make my burp suit intercept on? Now, whatever request is going from your browser, first it is going to go to this burp suit, then it is going to the server. I'll have to send it to the server. So what we'll do, we click on next. See, now I've clicked on next, but nothing is happening. Why? Because my request is at burp suit. Here is our request. Now I have to check whether this is my request or not. How? You look at this point, host. Host means whatever website the request is going to. So over here, the host is Google Analytics. This is not what my website is. My website is grocio.in, right? So I have to check, is my host grocio.com? No, this is not my request. So what we do, we forward the request. Forward the request means you're sending the request to the server. Whatever request was there, the request has gone to the server. Now this is the second request which was going in the queue. Here it says grocio.in. Yes, this was my application. Then here it says eject send sms.php. Exactly. This particular request will send a SMS on what number? On Saurav's phone number. This is the phone number. So here I got to know, okay, this was my request. This was my request, which was sent from my browser to my server. Clear? अभी इस रिक्वेस्ट को सर्वर के पास भेजना है, बट सर्वर भी तो रिस्पॉन्स भेजेगा ना आगे. सर्वर आगे एक रिस्पॉन्स दे रहा है, सौरभ के फोन नंबर पे ओटीपी जा रहा है. आई वांट टू सी दैट रिस्पॉन्स. हाउ वी कैन सी दैट रिस्पॉन्स? वी कैन टेल verb suit shows the response. How? You do a right click. There are again so many options. Go to do intercept response to this request. So whatever response the server is sending, I want to see that response over here onto this particular screen. Click over here and then forward the request. So you can see over here also request to grocio.com, right? .in. Forward. It says request to Facebook. This is not the response. This is a request to Facebook. I don't have to do anything with this request. Forward. WebSocket message, not my request to something, not my request. Request to VA talk, not my request. Again, WebSocket. Now, response from grocio.in. And when it is sending a response, in this particular response, if you see, we have a 4-digit number, which is an OTP 9857. Right? And if I do intercept of Saurabh, did you receive an OTP? And does that OTP says 9857?
Yes. Am I audible?
Hello?
Yeah, it's perfectly correct. 9857.
9857. And if we write 9857 over here, and if we click on verify, you can see that we are logged in into the Saurav's phone number. Using Saurav's phone number, we are logged in into the account. What if Saurav's have some money in the wallet? I would have been using that wallet, right? So this is one of the way through which we can perform OTP bypass. You can use any phone number, you put it here, you can get the OTP of that particular account. How risky is that? You see, these applications are not going for security testing. Anyone can go over here. You just figure out. You can just need to figure out that if SQL injection is possible or not on this application. If possible, then you can get the data of all the particular users over here. You don't need the password to log in. You just need an OTP and you can get the OTP easily. It's like you have the OTP on in front of you, right? So this is how we perform OTP bypass using verb suit. This is, see how beautiful verb suit is. You can see
Hello,
all the
Kunal.
response over here. Yes.
Yeah, I have one question. Along with that, I am receiving too many OTPs. Like one is from Byju's and OK Credit, and 3, 4 more OTPs like Clovia.
Okay. So right now you're receiving it.
Like 5 to 6 OTPs are there along with Grocia.
Okay. So there is one application, we call it Bomb It Up. Okay, so there is a possibility somebody from the team only, they might have, not from my team, like from your college only, they might be using this particular application, Bomb It Up. What Bomb It Up does, Bomb It Up, you just enter the phone number and this will bombard that particular phone number with lots and lots of OTPs. Okay, this we call it OTP bombarding.
Oh.
So you will receive near about 100 OTPs, max 150 OTPs, and this can be done on one particular phone number for one device 3 times. So basically per day you might receive 400 OTPs, near about 400 or 350 OTPs you might receive. After that they have to change the device on your phone number, for your phone number basically. The same thing can be done using verb suit also. How? Let's say you log in. Okay, you enter the phone number 788 74 39 68, right? Okay. So we'll go to the work suite, intercept is on. As soon as I click on next, look for my request. This is my request, right? Right click, send the request to repeater. What is repeater? In repeater tab, what we can do in repeater tab, we can see what is the response we are getting from the server. So this was the response we got from the server. Okay, if I click go again, that my request generated again, it went to server and we are getting the response. अगर आपको अपनी रिक्वेस्ट को बार बार रिपीट करके देखना है कि अगर मैं इसमें कुछ चेंजेस करता हूँ, फोन नंबर चेंज कर देता हूँ, तो उस फोन नंबर पे जाएगा. आई डोंट हैव टू कैप्चर द रिक्वेस्ट अगेन एंड देन परफॉर्म ऑल द एक्टिविटी. नो, you just send it to the repeater, then you can play with the request. You can play around with this request. You can put different payloads and look what is the response you are getting. Right now, I want to repeat this request 100 times. What will happen? 100 times if I'm clicking go, basically 100 OTPs are being sent. Whenever I click on go, Saurav is getting a OTP. Whenever I click on go, Saurav is getting OTP. Now, what if I'll click 1000 times over here? Saurav will get 1000 OTPs, but this is manual way. It will take lot time. So what we'll do? We will send this request to Intruder. So right click, send to Intruder. What is Intruder tab? In Intruder tab, you can repeat the request n number of times, whatever request you want to repeat. Okay, so we'll send to the Intruder tab. We'll go to the positions. In position, first you need to clear everything. Sorry. You click over here, clear everything. Now, this is what the different attack is. So Intruder is used for so many attacks, brute force attack basically. Now over here, we're not selecting anything. Generally, you have to select something wherever you want to attack. But right now, what I want, I just want to repeat the request again and again. So you don't need to select anything over here. You go to payloads. In payloads, you need to select what kind of attack you are doing. You are doing brute force attack, you're doing a number attack, you're doing a date attack. So if you look at over here, payload type, it's a simple list. You can give list from your end. Okay. We need to select null payloads. Null payloads means I don't want to send any payloads. I just want this request to repeat again and again. Okay. Generate. What generate? How many times you want to repeat this request? We're not repeating for 100 times. Let's repeat it for 20 times. So Saurabh, you will receive 20 OTPs. Okay. If I'll give 200, you will receive 200 OTPs. If I'll write 2000, you will receive 2000 OTPs. Then start attack. As soon as I clicked on start attack, you see it says status is 200. Okay. So this means that my request has been generated. So Saurabh, are you receiving OTPs from grocio.in?
Not now, but when you were clicking manually, I was receiving at that time.
Okay, don't worry, you will be receiving the OTPs. It's in the queue. Okay, because we are getting over here that
But
status
those
is.
OTPs were from different platform.
I got your point. The Bombit of application sends OTP from different platform. What I have shown you that you can send OTP from a specific application.
Right.
Bombit Up is an application which sends OTP for different platform. You might be receiving OTP from Paytm, from Amazon,
Yeah.
from PhonePe, Google Pay, maybe.
So
You
is
can
it
search
safe,
about
like,
Bombit Up. Sorry.
is it safe? I have.
Sort of your voice is not audible.
Is it safe? Like, I have shared my number. I will not be any trouble.
I'm so sorry. I'm not able to hear you.
Hello, am I audible
Yes.
now?
Yes, you are audible now.
So I just shared my number. So is it safe for me? Like, I
Arey,
will
don't
not be
worry.
in any trouble.
Nothing can be done using your phone number.
Okay.
Hundreds of people have your phone number. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is just a prank which people do. Don't worry about it. Just a simple small prank. Tomorrow they'll get bored. They'll find some other number for it.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, can the same password breach be done on bigger companies like Paytm, PhonePe, and all by any means also?
This attack which I showed you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this was on this attack was working on Zomato or Swiggy, I suppose, and this attack was working on Samsung. This attack was working on one of more big company. I don't remember the name, but Samsung and Swiggy. This attack was working. In Swiggy, you were able to see the OTP. The same
So
attack.
then,
Like, so later on it was rectified, mitigated.
So where the SQL injection is possible, so we can do on that platform.
Yes, if SQL injection is possible, you can get the database.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, basically, first of all, what is the requirement of sending a OTP back to the user? Like server can send the OTP from his end and request the OTP from the user and verify it. What is a like? This is the vulnerability, one of the vulnerability.
Yes, it was not supposed to show OTP on your browser. Even if it is sending it, okay, it should be in encrypted format first of all. Otherwise, they should use some APIs to perform this activity. They should not just send OTP onto your screen as well. If they are doing that, if they don't know how to do it, they should perform at least encryption part. Okay, there are so many attacks which you can perform. Let's say over here, if you see, we have something to search for, right? If let's say if I do test, I want to search for something test. Proxies on. Now see, I wrote something test. I'm getting nothing over here, right? But if you see in search bar in the URL, we have something written test. What if I write hello over here? We get hello over here. What if I write some script over here? Let's say if I write some JavaScript. Script alert. This script got nothing. Is some changes in the script and we can get XSS. So again, XSS is one of the attacks through which you can hack the browser. There's a framework, we call it Beef framework. Okay. We just need to attach this URL with Beef framework. They'll bind the Beef framework with this URL, and then that specific URL which is being generated by Beef framework, if I'll send it to someone, if they just click on that, they just need to click on that URL. As soon as they'll click on the URL, I'll be getting the connection, reverse connection of their browser. But for that, I need that Beef framework. I need to set up the Beef framework. Okay, this is basically illegal to do it. What we have done, writing a script over here, this is not illegal. Why? Because we're not writing any exploitation script. We just wrote a simple script through which we are getting a alert on our screen. Right. So there are different attacks in your web application as well. Okay. So there are lots and lots of attacks in web application. There are different ways of performing the same attack. If one way is not working, you need to perform the other. Okay. So if you want burp suit, how you can get burp suit? So there is a website, Portswigger. So Portswigger has this product, burp suit. Okay, you can get burp suit from here. You just need to enter your email address. You can just enter your email address over here and you can get the burp suit community edition. What are missing in the community edition? In community edition, there is a possibility that you might not be able to use the scanner part. And you might not be able to use the extender part. In extender, we have lots and lots of other tools related to burp suit, related to different attacks. Okay, if you want to perform SQL injection, you can use SQL IPY. So yesterday, the way we used SQL map, same way you can use SQL IP, SQL IPY, and then you can perform SQL map, SQL injection using this particular tool. Okay, but again, that's again deep into burp suit. Okay, first of all, you start using burp suit using the community edition, then we'll be talking about the other parts of the burp suit. So from here, you can just download burp suit and set up the burp suit and use the burp suit. How to set up burp suit? You can Google it. You will find the videos on YouTube. There are lots and lots of videos available on YouTube where you can learn how you can set up the proxy using the burp suit, how you can install the certificate in the browser. The browser you need to set up is basically Mozilla Firefox. So make sure you're setting up Mozilla Firefox with burp suit, not some other browser. Okay. So this was about workflow. This was about one of the more attack from web application. So we can end up the web application topic over here. Okay. And then we can start the topic of servers over here. Okay. So now, till now, any questions related to web application or burp suite? Anyone?
I
Yes.
haven't received those 20 messages till now.
Okay, maybe they must be in the queue, or the attack might not be working. There is a possibility. But it says that status is 200, and if we look at the response is also saying that there is a OTP which is being sent. So there can be a network issue, no problem in that.
Hello, Kunal.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a small doubt regarding why only Mozilla Firefox in order to link it with it.
It's simple and it's easy. If you talk about this Google Chrome, there are a lot of security settings which is being done in the Google Chrome. So if you try to enter some JavaScript, there is a possibility your Google Chrome might not let it execute. That is why. So you have to basically undo all the security settings, and then you will have to use the Chrome. So Mozilla does not have all these things. You can just simply start Mozilla and perform the attack.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay, chalo. Let's move on to the next part. It is servers. Now in server testing, first thing you guys might have heard of something we call CTF, capture the flag. Have you ever heard of this term, capture the flag? Anyone? No? Okay. So in capture the flag, this is a basically, you can say it's a sort of a game. Okay. In this game, what they do, they give you the IP address of the system. Now you get the IP address, same. It's a server running. They give you the IP address of the server. That's all what they give. In OSCP exam also, if you guys have heard of OSCP, what they do, they give you the IP address. They give you 5 IP address, and then you have to perform the attack on those IP address. Same way in CTF, they give you the IP address, and then you have to perform the attack on that IP address. Okay. While attacking, you have to find out some clues over there. Okay. You follow the clues, they'll give you the clues, and then you have to submit those clues. That's what we call flag. Capture the flag. You need to figure out the flags. So what you have to do is you have to basically get the root access of the machine. So in server testing, this is what we are going to learn today. Today we'll be learning that if you get an IP address, how you can perform attack on that IP address. Let's say in your network, there is one more machine which is connected. Okay. And you somehow get the IP address of that machine, or you want to know how you can get it. We'll be learning that also, how we can simple one-liner command and you can get the IP address, whatever devices are connected in your network. Okay, so you get that IP address. If you talk about real-time scenario in the companies, so what companies do? Companies come to you. They say, okay, this is my IP address. You please perform the scanning part and penetration testing part on this IP address and tell us how you are able to hack us or whether you are able to hack it or not, so that we can mitigate it. Okay. So first we'll be doing, then I'll be telling you how you can set all these machines, set up all these machines. I have already set up 2 machines over here. One is Kali Linux I have set up. Another is one of the server which is running over here. Okay. Later on, once we'll be doing the practical part, later on I'll be telling you how you can set up all these particular devices. Okay. So one of the device which is running over here, one of the server running over here, the server name is Pumpkin. The machine name is Pumpkin Garden. Okay. Now this Pumpkin Garden has an IP address already given over here. If you can see, it's 192.168.88.131. This is the private IP address of this machine. So there are 2 IP addresses. One is public IP address, one is private IP address. Public IP address is one which can communicate over the internet. If 2 people are over the internet, they want to communicate, they need 2 public IP address. If you have a private IP address is basically within the network. Okay, so this is within the network. So what I am doing, I am using VMware over here. VMware is a software in which you can run different machines. So I'm running Kali Linux as well as Pumpkin Garden machine over here. So this is my Linux, this is my Pumpkin Garden machine. Let me log in. Okay, now to perform this activity, I told you yesterday that there are 5 phases of hacking. The first phase is gathering information, right? Information and scanning. This is the two things what we have to do. Yesterday we learned about information gathering, that you can use Google for gathering information. You can use Vapalizer. You can use subdomain to figure out subdomain. You can use virus total. Today we'll be talking about the scanning part. Right. In scanning, in information gathering, we learn how we can get public information. In scanning, we will be learning how we can gather more information about our target. So we are not looking for some public information. We're looking for information which is not so public in nature, like what all ports are open, what are the services running on that particular port, all this information, right? So we'll be performing the scanning part today. Now, let's say you are sitting in your college, okay, and you want to figure out all the devices which are connected to your network, your particular network. There's a laptop connected, there's a mobile phone connected, there is some other particular system is connected, and you're using the Kali Linux as a main operating system. If you talk about other device, so that is different. We'll also talk about the Windows. So first thing, I need to find out my IP address. What is my IP address? So if config. I hope my screen is visible to you guys clearly now after zooming in. Okay. So first thing is I need to find out my IP address. What is my IP address? I just need to give if config. This particular command will tell you what is the IP address of your device, the private IP address. So this is my private IP address. I got my IP address. Second thing is I need to figure out what all devices are connected with my network. So this VMware now, this is running its own network. Over here we are running two machines. So how we do that? ARP scam 192. Okay, ARP scan and your IP address. Now I don't have to scan my IP address. What I have to do, I have to scan all the IP address inside the network which are active, which are live. So for that, what you do, you take the first IP address. How we take the first IP address? You write till here 1/24. Okay. Now for this, you need to understand how IP works. So you hit enter. It says that I have an IP address which is active, which is 88.131. And if you see over here, Pumpkin Garden, the IP address is 192.168.88.131. Same IP address I'm getting over here. This means that this IP address is active within my network. Okay. If it is active within my network, I'll be able to perform attack on it because this is a private IP address. That's why. Now I want to confirm whether I'll be able to perform attack on it or not. So what I'll do, ping this particular IP address, which is 131. And I'm able to get the ping back. So this means that the IP address is active and we can perform the attack on this particular IP address. The first thing, we had to find the IP address. This is the way we found the IP address, which is within our network. Okay. Second thing is I need to figure out the information gathering part, the scanning part. Okay. How we do that, the scanning part? So in scanning part, we have to basically, sorry. Let me zoom in. In scanning part, we have to use one very good tool. We call it Nmap. Okay. What is Nmap? Nmap is network map. What does this tool will do? This tool performs lots and lots of activity. Likewise, I want to figure out any particular port which is open. Okay, I want to find out the open ports. For that, we use a specific command. We call it -p. Okay, you can find single port. You want to figure out whether the single port is open or not. You want to find out that all the ports are open or not. So there are total 65,535 ports which runs in a single server. Okay, so from port number 1 till 65,535 ports, I want to figure out all the ports are open or not. I want to figure out a specific port number which is open or not. Different port numbers have different services running over there with different service version. So I want to figure out, okay, what is the version of service they are using, right? Are they vulnerable or not? Do they have any specific vulnerability available in that particular port or not? So Nmap, we use it for that purpose. These are the other commands which we can use along with Nmap. So any particular point of time, if you're not able to scan anything, we use these commands to basically bypass the firewall, to bypass any specific firewall which is, or any specific security which is implemented. Okay, so the simplest command in Nmap which we give is Nmap and the IP address, but this does not give us very good result. So if you see, I wrote Nmap and I wrote IP address. This Nmap is already installed in your Kali Linux. If you have Kali Linux, you don't have to install Nmap. It is pre-installed in Kali Linux. This is the beauty of Kali Linux. Lots and lots of tools are already available in that. So if I wrote Nmap and I wrote the IP address, you can see that it says that all 1000 ports are scanned. Okay, this is not the IP address we're supposed to scan. We're supposed to scan 131, the server IP. It says that 999 ports are closed, but one port is open, which is port number 21, and the service running on that port is FTP. Now, I told you that the total number of ports are 65,535 ports, right? But it is only scanning 1000 ports. Why? Because Nmap default command scans only 1000 ports. It does not scan 65,000 ports. If I want to scan 65,000 ports, I need to give another command for it. How? Let me clear this. Okay. So what we have to do, we just need to give -p minus. -p minus means that whatever ports are open, show me that. Scan all ports from first port to 65,565 ports. Scan every single port and show me the result. Okay. Then you can also, along with it, you can give -a. -a means aggressive scan. Aggressive scan means that scan each port and tell me the service version running over there, whether they are vulnerable or not. Okay. What is the operating system used in this particular server? So every information you give me, then we can use -vv. -v means verbose mode, that whatever Nmap is doing, now you are going and scanning that particular application, show me that. Same way, Nmap has lots and lots of different commands, -p and ping not, that don't ping that application, just scan it. If I'm not writing -pn over it, what it is doing, it is first pinging the application, figuring it out whether the application is active or not, and then gives you the result. Sometimes there is a possibility that port number 7 is closed. That's for ping. Okay, and you're not able to get the ping request, so Nmap is like, okay, the application is not active. In that case, it is not going to scan it. So what you have to do, you just write -p and ping not. Don't ping the application, just give me the result. Let's scan it. Now you see, it is showing you all these things that, okay, what Nmap is doing. It says Nmap discovered open port 21, Nmap discovered port number 1515 open, Nmap discovered port number 3535, which is open, and still scanning. Scanning is still continuing. Okay, scanning is still going on. All right. Now we have scanned our target and it has shown us the result over here. If you see how, from which point you start reading the request or result, from here, which it says now not shown ports. From here you start reading your result. It says that 65,532 ports are closed. These ports are not open. Okay, so they are not in working mode. They are closed. So remaining 3 ports are there, and it has given the result for those 3 ports. First port is port 21. It says open. FTP service is running on that port. Okay, and what is the version of the FTP service? VSFTPD 2.0.8 or later. So the version of this FTP is the older version. There is a possibility that attack is available. We can just simply attack and get the reverse connection from FTP server. Moving on to the next point, it says FTP ANON, anonymous FTP login is allowed. So in FTP server, no, there is by default credentials, which is anonymous. Username is also anonymous. Password is also anonymous. So while setting up FTP server, one has to disable this. Okay, it's enabled over here. One has to disable it. If they don't disable it, the possibility is somebody will try to connect to their FTP server, and just by writing anonymous, they'll be able to have a reverse connection, like in this particular scenario. So it says that FTP port is open and anonymous login is allowed. So what we can do, we can simply just type FTP IP address 131 and hit enter. It says what's the name, basically the username. We need to give the username anonymous. It's asking for the password anonymous. Hit enter and you see that login successful. Remote system type is Unix, using binary mode to transfer files, and FTP port in front of you. This means that we are inside that particular server just by simple command, just by simple anonymous ID and anonymous password. Because the person who set up FTP, he did not disable this particular mode. So what all commands you can type over here? You just do the question mark. These are the commands you can put over here. ls command, account command, make directory command, mode command, your command, nmap also you can do it over here. Okay. Let's say if I'll do ls. If I do ls, it says that there is a file node.txt. I want to read that file, but I cannot read that file directly over here. I don't have that access that I can read the file. This does not support that. You want to put some file over here, you want to download some file, you can do that, but you cannot read the file over here. So in this scenario, what we have to do, we have to download this file, node.txt. How we do that? Simple. Get space node.txt. Okay, hit enter. It says that the transfer completed and the file is now in your system. Is there any other information we can get? Nothing, because there is only one directory, which is node.txt, and we have already got that directory with us. So we can simply exit from here. Now, if do ls, we can see that we have got node.txt over here. I want to read this file. In Kali Linux, how you read the file is simply write cat and node.txt. Cat command is basically used to read the file, text files. Hit enter. It says, hello dear, looking for route map to pumpkin garden. I think Jack can help you find it. So what we are doing over here, we scanned a target, right? We scanned an IP address and we figured out that there are 3 ports are open. Port number 21, port number 1515 and port number 3535. Okay. So we read over here at port number 21, FTP service is running. In FTP service, anonymous login is allowed. So if somebody, any particular application, FTP service is running and the port is allowing you to connect at anonymous. So what you can do, you can simply write FTP and the IP address. It will ask for the ID and password. In ID password, you just write anonymous and you will be able to connect back. There are lots and lots of application online available through which you can do this activity. Likewise, if I'll show you the live activity, there is a website. Okay, let's ping the website first. Okay, we're getting the ping back. This is the IP address 169. Copy that. Okay, I want to figure out whether see, the FTP port is open, so you can use nmap to figure out FTP port is open or not. I'm just directly connecting. See, It says that connect to this and name anonymous, password anonymous. So I mistyped something. Anonymous. Login successful. Question mark. These are the things you can type. So if you see the actual website, this was the IP. Okay, this is from North California Earthquake Data Center, NCEDC. Right. So for this particular application, FTP port is open and they are allowing you to log in as anonymous. We're not doing further anymore because this will be an illegal act then. Okay. So in real time scenario also things like this are available. So this is what we do actually. Now in this particular machine, in this particular scenario, what we have to do, the machine is running Pumpkin Garden. We have to take the excess of this particular machine. Till now, what we have figured out just the one port which is open, which is FTP port, which is open, and we were able to have a reverse connection through FTP port. We were able to connect with the FTP port, and there was one file we were able to download from that particular. We were able to download that particular file, node.txt. Right. If you want to upload anything, you can upload. So let's say you have a friend from whom you want some data. You can tell them, okay, go to this IP address, type FTP, and then upload whatever file you want. And then you want to download that file, you can also go to that and you can just simply download that particular file. So you have a server available online. You can just use that server for transferring files like this. Upload, download, upload, download, upload, download like this. Okay. Now, through FTP port, this was the only information we were able to get, and we have got that information. The information which we got, what does that information says? That information says that this particular file says that, hello dear, looking for roadmap to Pumpkin Garden. I think Jack may be able to find it. Now, whenever we're doing CTFs, capture the flags, these kind of activity, whatever information we get, we try to figure out, can there be the possibility that we can get any ID and password, any username and password from that information? So if you read this, try to figure out, can you find anything ID or password from it? Jack can be the username, Pumpkin Garden can be the username, right? Nothing else. So this was the information we got from this FTP port. All right. Moving next, it says that there's one more port which is open, 1515, which is open, and HTTP service is running. Now tell me, what is the purpose of HTTP service? Anyone? What is this HTTP service is used for?
Hypertext transfer protocol to get hypertext.
To get the hypertext. So basically to get the hypertext means to run some web application. If you want to run a website, how does it, the URL start? http://website name. If it is secure, then it says HTTPS. Now, universally, all the ports, now most of the ports are given a specific number, like port number 80. Port number 80 is specifically for port number 80. It is specifically for HTTP service. Port number, yes. Okay. But over here, we can see that it is running on port number 1515. It's not running on port number 80. It's running on port number 1515. So let's open the web application and see, do we find anything over here or not? Firefox, http:// where's the IP address? (192.168.88.131). Okay, it says it is not connecting to this particular application. It's not showing anything over here. Why it's not showing? Because by default, it is connecting to port number 80. But the port number which is running over here is 1515. So you just have to specify the port number it has to connect at. Okay, so if you write the IP address directly, by default, it will connect to port number 80. But if it is running on some other port, you have to write the IP address. So there is a possibility that in company, You might find the IP address and you try to log in, you try to basically enter the IP address on the browser and you get nothing. Why? Because there is a possibility that IP address, that application is running on some other port number. Okay, so this is how, if you get that port number as well, this is how you can open the page. Now we got the web application over here. So yesterday we did some attacks from web application. Today we did some attacks in web application. So you can implement those attacks as well. If you find any web application, you need to figure out that attacks. Okay, now what we are doing over here, we are basically trying to gather information. We're trying to see, do we get any ID password over here or not? Now in this scenario, if you click anywhere, nothing will work. Okay, now moving on to the information gathering part, which you get from public platform. What you do, right click and view page source. Not this one. Okay, this is it. View page source. What does view page source means? It will show you the source code of this particular page. Now in source code, you read each and every line and figure out, is there any hyperlink? Is there any information you can get? Okay, so here it says the first hyperlink is image favorite icon. And if we go to that particular page and delete this view page source, it is showing you a very small image. Okay, this image is of no use to us. It's not giving us any information. So it's images of favorite icon. What if you delete favorite icon from here and you look at the directory of the image only? We have images, so many images available, pumpkin garden image, favorite icon image, and there is the folder with name hidden secret. Okay, so let's go into this particular. We have one more file, clue.txt, and in that particular file, we are getting something gibberish. Now, what is this gibberish data? So yesterday we talked about that there are some prerequisites to learn ethical hacking. One of the prerequisite was encryption, encoding, decoding. Now looking at this particular value, if you know encryption, decryption, and you know cryptography, this is basically base 64 encoded. Okay, so we copy that. We need to crack this. You can go online and crack it. But we are not going online. We will crack it over here only. How we are going to crack it? So just write the command echo your value and base 64 decoded. This is the command which will basically decode this particular data. You can go online. You just Google base 64 decoder. It will open a website for you. You just enter the value over there. It will decode the same thing for you. Okay. Now it says that after decoding, the value is scarecrow and some other value with some, again, password type information. So there is a possibility that this can be ID and password of for any of the particular login page. But still now, we have not found any login page. We have not seen any particular area where we can enter ID password, right? We have not seen anything where we can enter ID or password, nothing like that. Now, going back again to this particular page where we have performed the Nmap scan. Over here, we found that port number 1515 was open. HTTP service was running. We opened that particular service, we opened that particular application, and in that application, we were able to analyze and we were able to find a code. And after decrypting that code, we were able to figure out that there is some ID and password which is running on that particular system. Abhi, where we can use that ID password? Because till now we have not found anything, right? No login page we have found. Moving on to the next open port. Next port says that port number 35 is SSH. Now tell me, what is this SSH? What does this SSH protocol do? Anyone?
It is a secure cell protocol. So
what
like
does
it
mean?
used to remotely connect to remote server.
Exactly.
Used to securely, yeah.
Exactly. It basically connects you to the remote server. So let's say there's a server. We have a server running over here, Pumpkin Garden, right? I want to connect to this server. So what I can do, I can simply type SSH command and I can connect back to this particular server. Okay. Now to connect back to this particular server, I need an ID and password. So there are two ways to make it more secure. We can also put a key over there. Okay. This key will help you that only my device will be able to connect, no other device. Even if you get the ID password, you will not be able to connect if the key is uploaded. If key is not uploaded, we have the ID password, we will be able to perform the reverse connection. Okay, so we have got that SSH port is open, and in that particular SSH port is running on port number 3535. Where on what port number SSH port works exactly? SSH service, anyone? On what port number SSH service runs? Universally.
22.
Port number 22, exactly. So port number 22 has been given for SSH. So if I'll type anything, let's do it. Port number 22. So how we write the command for SSH? You just simply write SSH. Okay. User at the rate. What is the IP address? 192.168.88.131. Okay. Now it says connection refused. Why connection refused? Port number 22. My service is not running at port number 22. My service is running at port number 3535. Right? And what is the username we got? The username we got is Scarecrow. So we can just simply write Crow. Hit enter. See, now it is asking for the password. So whatever port number is it's running at, whatever changes we find, we need to specify each and everything. If you will not specify anything, it's not going to show you the result. Okay, we entered the port number. Now it's asking for the password. There's a possibility this can be a password. Copy that, paste it, and it says we are logged in into the Pumpkin Garden server. So what we did, we took the remote connection of the server. If I'll type anything, I can see, okay, there's one more file, not.txt. But first thing which I need to know from this particular application is, from this particular user is, are you a root user? I am into the application, but am I the root user or not? Or I am just a normal simple user who is there into this application. Okay, so how we do that? We write ID. What is my ID over here? What is my role over here? It does not say anything related to root user, that you are root user or not. There is one more user, sudo user, sudoers we call it. Okay, that user has one more high level privileges. Okay, so we are not even that. We are the basic user who can just run the basic commands. Whatever is in my system, I'll be able to access that. No other more information from that. Okay, so I'm not a root user. My job, my target is to become a root user over here. Okay, this point, till this point, it was a reverse connection. We are just taking the reverse connection. This is also very important. This is exploitation part. Okay, taking the remote connection is also one of the biggest thing. So we, as soon as we got escalation, I'm not a I'm a normal user. Now I want to be a root user. So how you can be a root user now? To be a root user, I have to figure out so many things. Okay, what all things are available? Let's do that. First of all, we check, am I a root user or not? No, it says you're not a root user, you're a normal user. Okay, fine. Let's say what all files are available. So if I did ls, it is showing me whatever data is available in this particular directory. It says not.txt file is there. Okay, not.txt is there. Let's read that. Now node.txt says that I just forgot. Oops, I just forgot. Keys to the garden are with Lord Pumpkin, who is a root user. Okay, so basically there is a Lord Pumpkin who is a root user. Reach out to Goblin and share this to secretly get the key from Lord Pumpkin. It says that reach out to Goblin and share this. Share what? Share this particular data secretly to get the Lord Pumpkin. So every time we get any information, what we try to analyze in that information, is there any username and password available? If you look at this particular information, there is a possibility that Goblin is one of the user and this can be the password, right? Lord Pumpkin is also there, who is a root user, not a normal user. But if Lord Pumpkin is the root user, this means that Goblin is also a normal user. He does not have the privileges. He's not a root user. Our job is to get a root user. Anyways, we have get this information. Let's try to enter into Goblin now. So I want to change my user. I don't want to be a Scarecrow user. I want to be Goblin user. How you become a Goblin user? You do SU. SU means switch user. Okay. I want to switch user. Hit enter. Wait. Okay. Switch user. What I want to be? I want to be Goblin. Password for Goblin. This is the password for Goblin. And you see I'm a Goblin user now. Now inside Goblin user, I'll check any files are available or not. ls, there is again a file note, cat note. Okay. Hello friends. I have heard that you're looking for Lord Pumpkin garden key. But the key to the garden with Lord Pumpkin root user, don't worry. I know where the Lord Pumpkin had placed the key. So they have like given you an area where the key is placed. This means that they have given you over here, if you see, they have given you a exploit for this particular vulnerability. That if you will use this particular exploit, you will be able to have a root access of the machine. Okay. Now we can go for that way also. But first thing, we need to check, do we have any particular advantage in this particular user? So if you do ID, we can see that we are a sudo access. We do have a sudo privileges. Sudo privileges means that you have some extra privileges related to the root. Okay, I'm not a root user right now, but I have some privileges. So if you have some sudo privileges, okay, a simple attack can get you a root access. What is that attack? You simply write sudo -i. It's asked for the password, give the password, and you become a root user. Simple. Sudo -i. And then you enter the password, you become a root user. So to become a root user, you just have to type sudo -i and you become a root user. You don't have to exploit anything, any particular command. This gives you privilege escalation. Now you have got the privileges to enter into the system. Now you have root user, you do ls, pumpkin garden key, cat, pumpkin garden key, and this is the key we have. Now again, the key is encrypted. How we can decrypt it? You simply write echo key, sorry, base 64-d, and it says congratulations. Okay, this means that you have got the root access. Then this particular flag you submit into the system and you get the flag. This is the flag what you are looking for. So this process is basically one of the process of testing a web application. So you analyze what all ports are open, what are the services running on that particular port. Clear? Clear till here? I'll tell you all these steps. Will be revising this particular machine again. But have you understood what we have done till here?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
There in the previous file, it was written that the whatever login is there, it is getting tracked. So what kind of information they will be able to get, like if they found this?
So information, see, any point, any kind of information you can get. Whatever files are there, no, any kind of files you will be able to read. Whatever files are available. So it's not important if it's a, let's say it's a application related to, let's say Amazon. So depends upon what Amazon has kept in those files. If it is something related to cloud, there's a possibility some other files must be there. If it is related to education industry, some different files will be available. Files can be anything.
No, my question is from other way around. Like uh, in some file, it was written every login is getting tracked. So
Every login
they
is
were
getting.
tracked.
Where
If
it
you
is.
go little bit up, somewhere all connections will be able to monitor it and recorded. All
Okay,
remote.
yes. That means that
So
okay.
so they are able to
Well,
see some information like, and to
no.
those.
What you are saying, it says that whatever you will be doing in that particular system, logs will be created. So if I am, let's say if I hack any particular IP address, okay, and I perform all these activities. So whatever my IP address is, it is getting recorded, and whatever I'm reading, I'm downloading anything, whatever I'll be performing in that particular system, those logs will be getting monitored. Those logs will be generated in that system.
Okay.
So somebody wants to figure out that, okay, who deleted this file? So they can go, okay, this person logged in at this point of time, he deleted this file. This IP address logged in and this IP address deleted the file. Then they will trace that IP address. Where is that IP address from? Who was using this? Then they'll figure out the system, they'll figure out the location.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me show you again what we did and how we did. Then I'll tell you how you can set up all these things in your particular system.
So also, as you have also mentioned earlier, that it is very
So,
difficult to delete the trace. I mean, the log files in the server. That is
yeah.
also an additional for us, right?
Sorry.
So, like, it creates logs of who
Yeah.
visited and or copies everything that the other people did.
Yeah.
So it would be an additional task for us for to
It
delete
is
those
very
files also.
difficult to delete logs. Very, very difficult. Even if you're deleting the logs, there is one more log generated that this person deleted all the logs.
That is
So
more difficult.
it's a task. Deleting logs is a task. So that's what people do while performing these activities. They make sure that whatever channel they're going through, they implement the proxy network in that. They're not going from their own channel. They're not going from their own network. They'll put the proxy settings and then they basically perform these activities.
Okay, so we can use like Tor or Tails for this purpose, right?
Tails is one of the best operating system for performing all these activities.
Okay.
So spoofing, you have to spoof yourself. So you need to learn spoofing first to do these kind of activities. So see, this is something depends upon your intention. If you want to be a hacker, then you need to learn spoofing part. You need to install the Tails operating system. You have to have that pen drive in which your Tails operating system is running. You need to hack someone's network through which you will be performing all these activities. You need to have an extra device which is again had firewall and everything installed in that. But if you are performing a security with the company, they'll give you the IP address themselves. They will tell you, okay, come hack us. There are so many applications, so many websites online available which says, come hack us. We are going to pay you money for that. We're going to give you the reward for that as well. We call it bug bounty. Okay. Chalo, let's do this machine again so that you can understand this particular process in a better manner. So first thing was we need to find out the IP address. Okay, how do we find the IP address? Let's say you are sitting in a okay. Let's say you have Windows. Okay, you have Windows and you have Windows machine. You have Windows operating system, and you want to find out how you can get all the IP addresses, all the devices which are connected to your system. For that, we use this very good tool. We call it Angry IP Scanner. Okay, you can download this Angry IP Scanner. Angry IP Scanner is very good tool. All you need to do is just enter your IP address. Okay, it will scan your network. Whatever devices are connected at your network with your network, it will show you the IP address of that particular device. So you write the IP address like IP range. So if your IP address is 127, sorry. If your IP address is, let's say, 192.168.34.2012. Okay, so you don't have to write like this. What you have to do it, you start your range from 1 and then 192.168.34.254 is the range of the IP or 255. Just enter the range over here, click on start. It will scan your network, whatever IP address is active, whatever application ports are open, possibly. Okay, it will show you that, and then you can perform scanning part on that particular IP address. Then you can use Nmap. Okay, now see nmap-h. It will show you all the commands over there. So we use some commands -a, -pn, -p. So you need to read all these commands over here. It says in. You need to input any particular file. You have the list of hosts. अभी हमने एक ही होस्ट को स्कैन किया. आपके पास एक लिस्ट है, 5-6 होस्ट है. आपने उनको एक साथ स्कैन करना है. तो आप एक फाइल के अंदर उन होस्ट को डाल दो, सारी फाइल्स के अंदर वो सारी आईपी एड्रेस लिख दो, एंड देन यू कैन जस्ट गिव द फाइल नेम ओवर हियर लाइक दिस. Okay. You want to perform the ping scan -pn, the one we used over here. You don't want any particular trace. You want the traces. Traces means एक IP address यहाँ jump किया, फिर दूसरे IP address पे jump किया, फिर तीसरा IP address पे jump किया, फिर आपके system पे आया. You want to find out all the places it basically stopped, basically traveled through. So trace route. Just write minus trace route. It will show you from what was the route it followed. All the IP addresses it will show you. Okay, like this, there are different commands. -p port. If you want to scan only single port, you can just simply use -p 22, port number 22. You want to figure out, okay, only port number 22 is open, so you don't have to give full command. Why? It takes a lot of time. Nmap takes a lot of time to scan single target. If in real time you're scanning any specific target, it's not that fast, because this is a virtual machine which is running in our own network. That is why this is giving you a very fast result. If you are scanning, if you are attacking on a real-time network, on a real-time server, it is very slow, very slow. It takes a lot of time, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, just to give you a single result. Okay, so that is why you don't have to find everything. You just need to figure out few things, and then you perform the attack. So if you want to find only single port, you just simply write -p port, specific port number. If you want to specify the range, you can specify the range like this: -p 1 to 100, 1 to 1000, 100 to 2000, like this. If you want to scan all the ports, -p minus is one of the way, or you can simply write from 1 to 65,535 ports, like this. Okay, or you want to specify 2-3 port numbers, you can specify 2-3 port numbers as well. Okay, then we have fast mode, we have scan ports, all different things we have. You want to just figure out the service version, you want to find out the service version. -smallest capital V. Whatever version, whatever service is running, it is going to show you the service version of that particular application. If you're running FTP, what is the FTP version it is using? HTTP version, what server they're using for running HTTP, everything. Okay, operating system detection -O. It is going to show you what is the operating system they are using. They are using Linux operating system, they are using Windows operating system, what is the version of that particular operating system. Okay, now these are for the firewalls and everything. The most important over here is script scan. So script scan is, let's say port number 22 is open and SSH service is running. I want to know whether that particular port has some vulnerability or not. So we perform script scan for it. Okay. So like this, there are so many possible ways of using Nmap. Okay, the one we have used was a basic way of using Nmap. So script scan is there. You want to just perform some specific information gathering. This is one of the most important tools, Nmap. So there are lots and lots of tutorials which are available over Google, over YouTube. You can just go and watch those particular tutorials and you can learn more about Nmap. Half of the things you have learned, half of the things you can just go in YouTube. Okay. So Nmap-A, capital A, for aggressive scan. You see, what does this capital A does? enables operating system detection. It will figure out what is the operating system running over there. Version detection. It will figure out what is the version of a specific service running over there. Script scan. So I was telling you about script scan. So in this particular script scan, no, it is only going to scan 40 particular scripts. There are so many scripts available. Okay. For now, because we are using it with -a, only top 40 scripts it is going to scan. Like top 40 scripts includes FTP, SSH, HTTP, all these particular scripts, and the trace route, whatever trace route. So 4 things one command is doing. If you don't want all these things, you just want version detection. In that case, what we do, we use -sp. Okay, we use -sp for that. We don't want anything except operating system detection. We can use -o for that. We only want to perform script scan. Then we write minus script and specific script for it. Like I want to do vulnerability, so I can just write minus script vuln. So this is a vulnerability script. All the vulnerabilities it's going to figure out for every particular port. I want to specify only for HTTP, then we can just perform HTTP enum for that. Okay, different scripts, different purpose. Okay, so what we did over here, we are saying that, okay, tell me the operating system, tell me the service version, tell me this, run the scripts over there, and tell me the trace route as well. And do it for all the ports. Don't do it for just one port or 100 ports or 1000 ports. No, do it for all the 65,535 ports. And we have got some result again, 21, 1515 and port number 3535. So we figured out that, okay, anonymous login is allowed. How we're getting this information? We're getting this information because I wrote -a over here. If I'll not write -a, it's not going to give you this information. Let me show you. If we'll write only -p, it's not going to scan anything or something. It's only going to show you the open ports which are there, which are available, which are 3 ports open. It's only going to show you 3 ports and service running on those ports. So we need more information, right? So this is one of the way. -a is one of the way to get more information from there. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you that you need to learn more about Nmap and figuring out the results of Nmap. So here we got the result. FTP port is open, so we got connected to FTP port. Right? We figured out, okay, port number 1515 is open. So what we did, through your web application, we went inside the web application, we did some information gathering part. Right? Let me show you that information gathering. This is very important. Information gathering part. Now, here I'll show you one more attack. Now see, how we get that information, that particular directory. We went to the source code. Okay, you're reading the source code. There was one particular link we found. We went to that particular link. And we saw that, okay, there is a favorite icon, favicon icon. Okay, we deleted that and we were able to get that particular directory. What if we were not able to find this such link? Right click, view page source. What if this link was not here? Just not showing anything over here. It's encrypted, but it's not showing any link over here. In that case, how you can find the directories? So there is one more attack. We call it directory listing attack. Okay. Finding out the directories of the application. Whatever directories are running, you just need to figure out how we do that. Let me show you. Zoom in. So we have a very good tool. We call it DIRB. DIRB means directory buster. Okay, it will basically find out the directories for you. So if you'll write in your Kali Linux DIRB and hit enter, and if it shows you something like this, this means that directory buster is already available in your Linux. Okay, how do we use it? We simply write just DIRB space HTTP : IP address 192.168, or you can also write the website name abc.com, any particular website name, whatever website you want to find the directory for. And if it is HTTPS website, you need to specify HTTPS 8.131:1515. Okay, you have to give the full complete URL. You don't have to give just the IP address or just the domain name. No, you have to give the complete URL. Complete URL will help you find this. Hit enter. See now what it is doing. It is basically putting up the directory name and checking whether we are getting the result from that or not. Okay, so there are 3 directories it says, and out of 3, 2 directories are port 200 and 1 directory 403. 403 means it's not working. It's an error. And we have got the directory over here. So we can just copy that. And we can do Firefox. And we can directly open the directory. This is also one of the way. If you don't have Linux, don't worry. We also have the GUI version of Directory Buster. Okay, you can download this Directory Buster GUI version. In GUI version, you just again simple need to enter the directory name, sorry, your URL, https://bing.com. Okay, this will then figure out all the directories, whatever directory is available with bing.com, it is going to show you the result. It is not important that every directory will give you some juicy information. No, there can be a possibility directory is about. This is a directory that pumps. There's a possibility. So you just read the directory name and then analyze it, then figure out, okay, you might get some juicy information, you might not get some juicy information. It's not important every time you will get juicy information. It is not important you won't get anything. There is every possibility is there. Okay, you just need to analyze it. Okay. Then once we figured out, okay, there was some information available, we got something related to ID and password, then we tried to connect using SSH port. Okay. Now these things, now you should know what is the command used for SSH, what is the command used for FTP, what is the command you can use for HTTP, all these things. You have to be aware of it. Okay. Now for SSH port, what we did, we got connected to SSH port. How? We wrote SSH and we got the username, we wrote the IP address, and then we specified the port. What is the port we want to get connected at? If you'll not specify the port, let's say you don't specify the port over here. Now it's taking by default port, which is port number 22. And it says connect to host this post 22 connection refused because the service is not running at port number 22. The service is running at port number 3535. Like this. We didn't even touch this server. I mean, we didn't even open this particular server. We didn't even perform anything on this server. This server is running. Okay. Here, whatever we did, we used our own particular system and then we entered into that server. Asking for the password. Okay, whatever the password was. I think we cleared that out. Don't worry. You have understood the process, right? Clear this one? Or you want me to do further? Guys? Let's get the password. Okay. Okay, the password was here in the web application. Okay, now these kind of encryptions you will find in lots and lots of server attacking part. Okay, whenever you will be doing capture the flag, you will find lots and lots of encryption part. They can be encrypted, they can be encoded part. So you need to figure out, okay, what this encoding is all about. So over here, this is base 64. How you detect base 64, how you decrypt base 64. Simply write echo, give the value, okay, and base 64 decoder. This was the password. Password. Give the password and you're connected back. Permission denied. Okay, you are into the server. You do ls, you have node.txt, you check the id parameter, you check the directory you are into. So see, you says you are into home directory. You can go back to the directory, no directory found. You read the file cat space node.txt. You have one more user, Goblin, and the password for that user. You switch the user to the password of the unique user. Again, you roam around, you check the ID, sudo user, just sudo -i, and you become a root user, right? And decoding part, congratulations. Now, how we have set up all this machine? What are the things you need to set up in your system to learn all these things? So this is a self-learning part. See, the self-learning starts from setting up the system. If you talk about the server, so I'll tell you for both the things, for the server as well as for the web application. For web application, you need the tool Burp Suite. Okay. How you can set up Burp Suite, I have already told you. Still, I'll tell you once again. You need to download the Burp Suite from here. Version of the Burp Suite for now. Okay. If you want the paid version, you can get the paid version. If you want the cracked version, you can just Google over the internet. You can figure out the cracked version as well. Okay. Setting up the cracked version is also simple. You just need to switch some keys and then you'll be able to set up. Okay. The cracked version, generally people use the cracked version. In the companies, they are using the professional version. In real-time scenarios, if there is some bug bounty hunter is there, he used the cracked version. Then you need to set up the Burp Suite with Mozilla Firefox. While setting up, you need to do two things. One is proxy setup, and is certificate. Okay, how you set up the proxy of the Burp Suite? You start your Burp Suite. Once you will install the community version, you start your Burp Suite. In the Burp Suite, you see this proxy area. You go to the proxy area. You see this option area. Go to the option area. In this option area, you have to make sure that you have the interface 127.0.0.1 and the port number 8080. If you don't see anything like that, just click on add. Okay, enter the port number 8081. I am writing 81. You need to enter 8080. From a specific address, drop down, just select it and click OK. You will be able to see the port and it should be checked. If it is not checked, it's not going to work for you. I'm removing this one. Okay, so it should be checked. This is the first thing you have to do. Once you have given the IP address and the port number in your Burp option area, then you go to your Mozilla Firefox. in the settings area, and over here type proxy. In the proxy, you will see so many settings were already done. Okay. What do you have to do? You have to delete everything, undo everything, and do it again. What do you have to do? You just select the manual proxy configuration. You type the IP address, your local IP address. This is the local IP address of your system. 127.0.0.1 is the IP address of your system. Okay. Enter this IP address, enter the port number. If in case you have done all the setup and your burp suit is not working, what do you have to do? You have to change the port number. It is 8080, you make it 8081, you make it 9090. Okay, whatever port number you want to give, you can give, but both the port numbers should be same. The port number of your Mozilla Firefox and the port number of your burp suit, it should be the same port number. Generally, it is not going to cause you any error, but in case it gets you an error, make it 8081. Okay, and then take over here, also use this proxy for HTTPS. And then whatever information you find, something is written, delete that. If something is checked, uncheck it. Okay, if something is written over here, whatever is written, just delete that. Only three things, four things. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all. And this will set up your proxy. So this is the proxy part. Once the proxy is set up, you need to set up the certificate. Why we need a certificate? For every HTTPS application, we need a certificate. Okay, your browser has a certificate. You also need to install that certificate in your PortSwigger. Your PortSwigger certificate into your browser. How we do that? Go to again to your burp suit. In your burp suit, in the options area only. Acha, every particular tab must be having an option. If you go to Intuitor, it has an option. If you go to Scanner, it has an option. If you go to Target, no, Target does not have an option. Extender, it has an option. Which option tab you have to go? You have to go to Proxy. Inside Proxy, you have an option area, option tab. You have to go there, not anywhere else. Okay. So in option tab, you see, you have import and export CA certificate. You click on it. It says, it gives you an option, export or import. We are exporting the document. Acha, यहाँ पे you have three options. You have to click on certificate in DER format. Okay. Next, choose the area. Choose the file where you want to select. I want to select a desktop. What file name I want to give? I want to give IIT.DER. You have to specify the extension as well, DER. If you will not specify the extension, it will not save with that particular extension. Next, and close. And you see, we have burp suit installed. Oh, sorry, certificate installed in our system. So certificate has only been generated. Now we need to install this certificate in your Mozilla Firefox. How you do that? You again go to the settings area. In the settings area, you simply write over here certificate. View certificates, click on it. Now, there are so many options you will get. You have to go to authorities. In the authorities, if you see, mine is already set up. Okay. I'll delete that. I'll do it again for you guys. If you click on P, there is nothing. So import IIT-DER, click on it. Trust CA certificate to identify website. Trust CA certificate to identify email users. You have to select both. Click OK. Click OK, and the certificate is being installed. You want to check again. So you will just click on PortSwigger. You see that the PortSwigger certificate is there. If PortSwigger certificate you will not install, then you will not be able to perform any activity using burp suit. Okay, it will give you an error again and again. Only HTTP websites will work, and these days you will hardly find any website which is on HTTP. Which is on HTTP. Every website these days has HTTPS. Okay, so for HTTPS websites we need this. Okay, clear? How we can set up burp suit? Okay, one more thing. Let's say your burp suit is not working. Not working means it's not on. My burp suit is not off. My burp suit is off. If I'll write google.com over here, what will happen? It is going to give me an error. The proxy server is refusing connection. So many students say, sir, my Mozilla Firefox stopped working after connecting with the burp suite. Why? Because we have set up the proxy along with it. So until and unless your burp suite is not working, Mozilla Firefox is not supportive. In case you don't have to use the burp suite and you need to only use the Mozilla Firefox, what you have to do? You have to go to your settings. You have to remove the proxy. How you remove the proxy? Simply click on no proxy, click OK. If you write anything, your Mozilla is working fine. Okay, this is a challenge a lot of students face. I get lots of queries related to this small thing. So just make sure, in case you're not using burp suite, your burp suite is off, and you still need to continue using the Mozilla Firefox. You just make sure that your proxy is off. This is a tool which comes over here, extension comes over here. Okay, you can use that extension as well for, again, switching on and off the proxy. Okay, so this thing is important burp suite you need for learning web application. Different attacks requires different tools. Burp suite is something which will require every time. Okay, analyzing each and every request. So you need to analyze each and every request. How we analyze each and every request in burp suite? Let me show you that as well. That will help you out. Okay, in proxy tab, there is a HTTP history. Okay, you're already aware of intercept now. Okay, forward will forward the request to the server. Intercept on will basically capture the request, and whatever request is generating, let's say intercept is off. Okay, if you go to the history part, if I enter this, okay, proxy is not set up. So you need to set up the proxy. Again, these things you have to basically careful about. Now, proxy setup, everything is set up. Now, if you see, whatever I'll be doing in my system, the history will be generated. If you even perform the intercept off also, see all this information. Now, all these particular links you will not be able to see on your application in the GUI version. No. Links related to brochure, fonts, index. No, there is nothing coming over here in the. So there are so many times the data is going from a specific parameter, and you select that parameter, you figure out that parameter in the history tab, HTTP history tab. So generally, most of the time, history tab is something, HTTP history is something we view a lot. Okay, we just analyze, okay, what is the request going on, what is the parameters going in that particular request. You analyze every particular parameter, every particular request, and then response of that particular request. What is the response we're getting from that particular request? Then we try to generate some error, we try to perform different attacks. Then you need to learn all those different attacks. Once you will learn all those different attacks, you will be able to understand this particular web application scenario. Okay, so there are a list of attacks which we follow. How we get those list of attacks? WASP top 10. Okay. See, till here, it's all theory part. Web application security testing, introduction and objectives. First, we have testing checklist. There's a checklist. Then we have information gathering part. Then identification management testing, how you do that, test role definition, test user process, test account processing. So these are the basically checklist which you have to follow, right? Out of those checklists, what is the kind of information? These are basically list of attacks. If you want checklist, proper checklist, GitHub is also a very good platform where you can learn all this information, from where you can get all this information. The boring one. Yes, there's a list of attacks you can perform. Forget password. If you are on the forget password page, what all things you need to check? These are the things you need to check. If you are on, let's say, related to session, if you're performing an attack related to session, these are the attacks you can perform related to session. How to perform these things, you have to learn. These things have to be learned later on. Okay, if there is a registration process, what are the type of attacks you can do? You can learn duplicate registration process. You can override the existing user or not. If let's say there is an application, there's a website in which you have created an account abc.com. I also write abc.com and then I overtake that particular account. Okay. SQL injection. So these are the list. I'll share this link with you, checklist. It will be helpful. Okay. So this is for web application. If you want to learn web application, self-learning process. Now, if you want to learn for server, you need to have a lot of setup in your system. The first thing you require is VMware. Now you can download the VMware, the smaller version, PlayStation, or you can download the VMware workstation. So this is a player. Okay, this is not the full-fledged software. This is also fine if you want to download this. You can download the bigger version of the software as well, VMware workstation. We have the cracked version also available. For that, you have to figure out the key from the internet and then enter the key. That will also work for you. Okay. First thing is you need the VMware workstation. Once you have downloaded the VMware workstation, how you can download the VMware workstation? Here. Okay. From just VMware workstation, you can download this one. Once you have downloaded it, you need Kali Linux. Now, a lot of people, what they do, they download the Kali Linux operating system file. Then they set up Kali Linux and it takes around 1 hour or 2 hours to set up Kali Linux. Okay, because it takes a lot of time to download, upload, so many things are happening over there. So it takes a lot of time. You don't do that. You do the simplest way. What is the simplest way? You download the image file. What do you mean by image file? Image file means it will download a file for you for Kali. Okay, you simply double click on that file and it will run the operating system directly in your VMware. No setup is required. Every setup is already done for you. Every particular memory has been allocated for you. All you have to do is you just need to double click it and run the application. Okay, how you do that? You go online again. Offensive security, Kali Linux download. The first link. Offensive security, Kali Linux download. Write exactly the same thing. For VM where? Yes, this one. Okay, so this is an image file. This is pretty big file, 2.7 GB file. This might take a little time to download. Once this file is downloaded, all you have to do is double click on that particular file. It will generate a OVA file for you. Double click on it. It will directly install in your system. Okay. Then once it will install, it will ask you something like this. The virtual machine might have removed or copied. I moved, I cancelled, or I copied. Click on I copied. Once you click on I copied, it will install the machine in your system. Hardly takes 5 to 10 minutes and it's done. Now, once you will start Linux, Kali Linux, it will ask you ID password. Okay. The ID password for the machine is Kali. This is how you will see once you will start the machine. Once you will install and set up everything. This is how you're going to see. Okay, what it's going to ask you? It's going to ask you password. Password is Kali. Okay. Now, once you will type this password Kali, now the thing is, you are not a root user. So every time you have to run nmap, you have to write su, and then you have to write the commands, and this creates a lot of wastage of time. Okay. What do you do in this case? See, if I write nmap, it is allowing me, or any other tool you will write, it is basically, it's going to ask you to write the sudo or command. So you write su and then you write basically all of the commands. You don't want to do that. What you do, you basically become a root user. How you do that? You just write su root, type Kali, sorry, pwd. Okay, you write sudo -i and then you write Kali, you will become a root user. Now, you are only a root user as of now. You have not created any root user account. So write PWD password. Okay, space root. Hit enter. New password, whatever password you want to give the password, retype the password. Now you have a huge user who is root, and you have a new password, which is whatever password you have created. Then you just switch user. Once you switch user, you write root, you write the new password, and you log in. You are a root user now. You don't have to be a normal user. Okay. This thing you have to do. Otherwise, every time you write any command related to sudo, this will create trouble for you. Okay. So once your Kali Linux is set up, now you're good to go for setting up the other machines. Third is, you need to set up the machine. You need to set up the environment. You need to set up the lab for yourself where you can perform the attack. Now, from where you can get this lab, from where you can get this machines, there are two ways. You want to pay and get those machines and then perform it. You want the free machines, or you want the machines on the cloud. So you don't have to do all these hassle. You just need to connect to the cloud and then you can do it. Okay. So first is, I'll tell you, you can download the machine and then you can perform the attack. Okay. So there is a very good website. Yesterday also I told you about this website, World Hub. World Hub is a website which basically uploads different vulnerable machines. So the machine which I'm running over here, Pumpkin Garden, I downloaded from World Hub. Okay. How? I wrote the name Pumpkin Garden. I got the machine over here. This is the machine we just cracked. So what do you have to do? You can download this machine. Okay. So just go to this machine now. There are different levels of machine. Simple, easy, medium, intermediate. Okay. So you can start from the simple machines, easy machines, and then you can move on to the difficult machines. So it will tell you whether the level of the machine as well. When it was released, what is the task you have to do in this particular machine. So it says Mission Pumpkin version 1. Pumpkin Garden is the name of the machine. When it was released on 28 June 2019. So not that old. Author, series of the machine, download. How you can download? You have three ways you can download. You want to download directly from here. You want to download the OVA file, which is the image file, or you have a torrent. From torrent also you get the OVA file. The beauty of the OVA file is you simply double click on this particular file and it will start the machine in your system. You don't have to set up anything. You don't have to perform any set, nothing. Just download the machine, simple click here. It's downloading. Once it is downloaded, once it's done downloading, you simply double click on this. It will open the machine in your system. How? Let me show you. So that. Pumpkin Garden. Close that machine. Power off. See, this is the OB file. Double click on it. See, I don't have to do anything. Port, and it will start the machine for me. No setup required, nothing. Same you have to do with the Kali Linux. Okay, so what you can do now, you can download different machines from here and you can start performing attack on those machines. So you can download and do that. Then it will tell you virtual machine, what is the platform, or sorry, what is the operating system they are using. They're using Linux operating system. Okay, network is enabled automatically, so you don't have to disable the network or do anything. Okay, network is already enabled. You don't have to enable the network for this specific machine. If in case it says network is disabled, then you have to enable the network by going into VMware workstation, and from the settings from there you can do that. Okay. Now, there are so many machines available over here. You want some easy one, just write easy and you have a list of machines. Likewise, Kyoptrix. So different Kyoptrix level 1, Kyoptrix level 1.1, Kyoptrix level 1.2, web security dojo 2, Kyoptrix again, Axor, Hacker Lab, one VoIP. So different machines, different ways of attacking. It's not every machine will be having same port numbers, same exploit. No, every machine will be having different exploit, different way of attacking that machine. Also, you can see the dates of those machines. So you open the recent machine, whatever the recent you find, you can see all that. Okay, you want some medium level machines, you can look for the medium level machines. Now, because you will say like, okay, I've never cracked these machines, how I don't know what to do, the next step, what to do in this scenario. So what you do, you read the walkthrough. Likewise, if let's say pumpkin garden, you just write pumpkin garden walkthrough and you can simply read the walkthrough. To understand what you have to do next, you solve 5-10 machines with the help of walkthrough, and then next time the 6th machine or the 11th machine, whichever you are doing, you do it without watching the walkthrough. So you will understand, okay, what you have to do the next part. Information gathering is the first part, the next exploitation is the first part, basically taking the reverse connection. Then the third part is taking the privilege escalation, becoming the root user. So over here, pumpkin garden walkthrough. Security level is beginner, that you are a beginner, so you can go for it. Penetration testing methodology. Methodology means that what all steps you need to follow. First of all, you need to perform scanning using Nmap. So you have learned Nmap today. You can perform all this scanning part now using Nmap. Then enumeration part, basically getting more information about that particular target. So we did FTP enumeration. We figured out the FTP port was open. We got connected with the FTP port. We downloaded one file from that FTP port and we gathered more information from that FTP port. Right. The next was web directory search. We figured out a directory some way. There were 2 ways through which we can get. I've shown you both the ways. Okay. Then we exploited the SSH connection. So SSH port was open. We got connected with that SSH port and we took the reverse connection. After that, we did the privilege escalation, which is here, right? So it will share you all these steps. So it will first tell you, okay, this was the command which they have used. Using this command, they got this result, okay, which we also got. Then they did the next particular activity. They got connected to FTP port. So each and every step they have written with the screenshot. Everything is in detail. Okay, so you just need to try it on your own. Any other, let's say you talk about Kyoptrix, the machine we saw before. Let's say Kyoptrix level 1. You just write Kyoptrix level 1 walkthrough. InfoSec write-ups are one of the best write-ups. There is a InfoSec YouTube channel also. They are showing you on the YouTube channel also how they can perform these attacks. Welcome to Cortex penetration testing. You will see this. You don't have to write any login password over here. No, you don't have to do anything. You just need to start the machine, and then you don't have to go to that machine. Whatever you have to do, you have to do everything on your own machine, on your own operating system, which is Kali Linux. You will have to just use Kali Linux for this, or if you need Windows and other different tools. You don't have to go to Cortex machine. Oh, login is there. Let me try login. No, it will not log in anything. The machine is running. That's all. Then it will tell you the methodology. Okay, first we do network scanning. See over here. When the machine we started Pumpkin Garden, it is showing you the IP address over here, right? It is showing the IP address, so we were able to get the IP address. But in this Cortex machine, if you will start, you will not get the IP address. So the first challenge is you need to get the IP address, right? So if you remember, in the first step, I told you ARP scan command, and then the IP address range. You have to give that, then only you will be able to get the machine IP address. Otherwise, you will not get the machine IP address. Now, one thing you need to take care of it, that whenever you are running any machine, okay, where's the setting part? You have to make sure the machine is running in the NAT network, basically NAT mode. If it's in the bridge mode or it's in the host mode, make it into the NAT mode, network adapter. Okay. Both the machines, not only one machine. Your Kali Linux should be in NAT mode. Your machine which you are starting, this machine, they should also be in NAT mode. If you see NAT, network adapter mode. Okay. If it's not in NAT, if one machine is in host, one machine is bridge mode, it's not going to work. If your machines are in different modes, different networks, it's not going to work for you. You will be like, you will be scanning the target, but you will not be getting the result. Okay, so make sure both the machines are in NAT mode. So first network scanning, after network scanning, you will get the IP address, then you enumerate it, you exploit it, you get the root access. Tools they have used is Nmap, Nikto, and Metasploit. Again, Metasploit is one of the very, very important tool, very amazing tool. But if you talk about OSCP certification, Metasploit is not allowed. Okay, Metasploit basically helps you to exploit things. All the payloads are already available in Metasploit. You just write the commands over here and it exploit the things for you. Okay, there is one very good vulnerability which was found by one of the group. The group name is Shadow. So what was the vulnerability? One vulnerability was Eternal Blue vulnerability. Have you ever heard of this vulnerability, Eternal Blue? This particular vulnerability we exploited using Metasploit. Okay, what happens in this vulnerability? Let's say you have a laptop you're using, okay, and you're using Windows in that laptop. And in that laptop, there's a service which is running SMB. SMB is one of the service which runs in your Windows system. Okay, and the version of that service is version 1. If SMB version 1 is running in your system, I just need the IP address of your system. That's all, nothing else. I have the IP address of your system. I can just take the reverse connection of your system and I can do whatever I want from your system. I want your system to open any website, we can do that. Your system has some specific files, I can read those files. I can download the files, I can upload the files. So basically your system becomes my system. Okay, this is an eternal blue vulnerability. So National Security Agency of USA, NSA, they had this, they exploited this vulnerability and they used to basically keep eye on people. They used to start their cameras, they used to figure out the location, they used to see what all files you have in your system. So NSA used to hack people through this vulnerability, SMB version 1 vulnerability. Okay, so one of the hackers, no, there was a group of hacker. I think the name of the group was Shadow or something like that. Shadow, yes, Shadow. They call it Shadow. So this group of hackers, they hacked into NSA and then they figured out, okay, something like this is being done by NSA, and then they made it to public. Okay, so public, see, somebody is doing like this. NSA is doing like this. This kind of vulnerabilities, we call it zero-day vulnerability. that nobody is aware of it and the vulnerability exists and somebody is taking care of taking advantage of that vulnerability. We call it zero-day attack. So such things are happening in environment. Okay, so Metasploit. We use Metasploit to exploit this vulnerability. It's very simple and very easy to use Metasploit for exploiting vulnerabilities as well. I'll show you how you can start Metasploit, or how does it look like. So either you just go to your terminal and write MSF console. Okay, this will start the Metasploit for you. This takes little time. Or you can simply go here and you can write Metasploit framework. You click here, this will also start Metasploit framework for you. So this is how your Metasploit looks like. Okay, there are different exploits available. There are different auxiliaries available. What is the purpose of auxiliary? To basically use it for information gathering. If I want to only use Metasploit for information gathering purpose, for scanning purpose, then I'll be using the auxiliaries available in it. If I want to exploit specific target, I'll be using exploits. I want some payloads, I can use payloads. I want to encode something, I can use encoding. Okay, so again, Metasploit, again, it's a very big tool, very amazing tool. Okay, you need to learn Metasploit also, and it's not that difficult to learn Metasploit. Again, simple and easy to learn Metasploit. Okay, so if you want to learn Metasploit, you want to have a glimpse of Metasploit, you can download this Coptrix machine level 1, and then while you will be performing the attack on this machine, you will have to use Metasploit. And for that, you need Kali Linux, and I've already shown you the part to download Linux with a snap of finger, right? Okay, so if you want to scan the network, I told you that ARP scan is one of the command. Net discover is also one of the command. So you can simply write net discover, hit enter. It will scan whole of your target. You don't have to specify the IP address, nothing. You just write in net discover, hit enter, and it will scan it, your target for you. Net discover. See, you don't have to write anything except net discover. Now it is scanning all of your targets, all of your IPs. One of the way. So this is the walkthrough. You can read the walkthrough, or you can simply perform the attack by looking at the walkthrough, and then you can learn. So if you want, if you like, you don't want to read blogs, you can watch videos as well. Okay, on the videos are also available on the YouTube for different machines, not for every machine, no, for different machines. For some machines it's available, for some machines it's not available. You can simply write one walkthroughs. Okay, they have shown you how you can set up different machines. So you can take the machine from here, and then you can download the machine, and you can follow the walkthrough, and you can perform the attack. Now this is something which you need to download in your system. Okay, and you are like, okay, you don't want to download anything, then hack the boxes for you. One of the very beautiful application made for learning perspective. Okay, you need to download them. You don't have to download anything in your system. Okay, you just need to run the hack the box. You need to start the machine. All you need is Kali Linux. You just connect with the machine, you get the IP address, and then you start performing the activity on that IP address. Now hack the machine, the issue is hack the machine is paid. Okay, but it is only paid for a walkthrough machine. The machines which are already being cracked, which are already for those machines which walkthroughs are available. If you don't want walkthrough, they are machines which don't have walkthrough. They are free machines. So you can just create an account, you can connect with those machines, you can get the IP address, and then you can start hacking those machines. But you will not be given walkthrough. They can be easy machine. They'll be showing you, okay, it's a easy machine, or it's a difficult machine, it's a medium level machine. They'll show you that, but they'll not show you that type of machine it is. Okay, so Hack the Box also, visit Hack the Box, create an account on Hack the Box. Then you can learn things from there as well. So if you want to go for self-learning, this is how you can do it. This is the setup you require, and you can do that. Same way, if you want to learn for mobile applications, then you need a mobile phone with the application and different setup for it. If you don't have, let's say, you don't want to get an extra phone for it, then you can download the emulator for it. Different emulators are there. Okay, you can use that different emulator. If you want to perform AWS security testing, so you need to understand how AWS works, how cloud works. First of all, you need to understand how the setup has been done for the cloud architecture, and then you perform the security testing on that. Okay. Now tell me, do you have any questions? Guys?
Can you please elaborate some applications of this field, like in what are its application in the industry?
Sorry. Can you elaborate some applications related to?
In the industry of this field.
I mean, what kind of applications you're asking me?
Like what kind of jobs there are and freelancing.
Okay, what kind of jobs are there in the market?
Yes.
See, there are every kind of job in the market related to security. You can become a security architect. Okay, I'll tell you in a simple, very simple manner this thing. So if you remember, yesterday I told you about two teams. One is red team, one is blue team. Right. If you are like, I don't know, I'm not a technical freak, I don't want to learn all these commands. You don't want these exploitations, right? So you can go into the blue team. So you can understand the policies, how firewall works, how firewall setups, all these things. How logs are being read, all these things you can go for. Okay, system administrator things. So you can go for that. So in that, you don't have to basically exploit anything. You just need to analyze things. Okay, so you just analyze the things. Second is red teaming. In red teaming, basically, you can become web application pen tester. You can become mobile application pen tester. You can become VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. In this, there are two things, VAPT. One is using the tool, automation. Okay. So for automation, you have some tools, Nessus. You have a tool, Equinetics. Okay. These tools are these are automation tools. If you know these tools, you still hold a very important knowledge in the market. Okay, if you know these tools, you know Nessus, you know Equinetics, you hold an important information, because in industry, these are the universal tools which are being used right now. Every second company, they are using Nessus, they're using Equinetics and more other tools. Okay, so you can go into VAPT, you can go into SOC basically. What they do, they analyze the attacks. How they analyze it? So there is a big room. Okay, in that big room, there are different systems are set up. In that setup, whatever logs are being generated related to attacks, they analyze those attacks. So if I'm somebody, let's say somebody tries to enter their ID and password. Now let's say your ID is ABC, your password is 123. Okay, you don't remember your password. You entered your password one time, two times, three times, four times, five times, six times, seven times, eight times, nine times, 10 times. They're like, okay, fine. Somebody can mistake 10 times, but they cannot mistake 100 times. They cannot make a mistake 1000 times or whatever number of times. This means that somebody is trying to do brute force attack on a specific IP address, on a specific ID. So SOC team basically analyzes such results and they say, oh, somebody is analyzing something, somebody is trying to attack, let's block it. Once they will block it, they will then read all the logs. Then they'll analyze the logs. They'll figure out, okay, what IP address it came from, what country you are from, where you stay, and everything. If they and then they figure out. This is a SOC job. Okay, you don't want to get into so much technical part. SOC is one of the best field for you. Again, SOC has lots and lots of jobs available because these days companies are one step ahead of the hacker. But hacker is also very careful. He is also one step ahead. Both things. Some companies implement 50 firewalls. Some companies implement 100 firewalls just to secure them. Okay, so you can get into SOC. You can get into servers. You can get into security architecture. Now, what does security architecture does? Security architecture basically tells whatever kind of implementation you want to done, how you can done that implementation securely. So let's say right now you have a company, you have a small company, you are not that big company, okay, and that company does not require much of the servers and everything. You don't require your own server, so you say, okay, I'll get the server from Amazon. So what server you need to get, how you can secure that Amazon server, do you need any extra security for that or not? If you need laptops, what kind of laptops you want? So if you're having your own network, how you can secure that network? Okay, and you go on a bigger perspective, then what all things you need to implement in your company to make it more secure, all the devices, whatever firewall you need, what kind of firewall you need, all that thing security architecture does. Okay, he analyze your usage and he analyze what all the security perspective you need to implement. Then you can also go into what do you call it, there's something we call governance. Okay, in governance it is like all the policies you need to implement. Like simple thing, you need to have a security camera, that's all. Simple thing, you should have the security camera at this area, at this position, in this particular angle. These things are also there. It's not only one thing, so many things are there. You can go into governance, but governance is a little boring. If you think that you can do lots of paperwork, then governance is for you. Again, governance holds very important aspect in the market. Okay, we get into governance also. So then cloud testing, you can become a cloud penetration tester. For cloud penetration testing, what kind of cloud you want to get into? You want to get into AWS, because cloud is also very big technology. It's not a small technology. You can just learn one and then you can move. You can definitely learn everything. It's not like that. But again, it's a big architecture. You can do Active Directory testing. What do you mean by Active Directory? Now these days, every company is following Active Directory. Okay, at one place, one area, everything is there. You don't have to go here and there. Everything is at one place. So they need to figure out, okay, everybody is not able to have access of Active Directory. So there are specific test cases which we perform. Okay. So IoT is there. You have Alexa, you have Google Home. You have so many devices in your house which you can use it over the internet. You just need to connect that particular device with your internet. You have the internet, you have the application. With one particular click, you can start the AC. With one particular click, you can start the light. With one click, you can start the TV, right? Through the applications, through the internet I'm talking about. There are locks which are coming in the market, which are basically works over the internet. So I am in my office. I want to open the lock of my house. I'll open the application, I'll click, the lock will get open. Right. So that lock has the internet connectivity. That lock has the IP address. We can exploit that IP address. We can try to figure out the IP address, and then you can perform the attack on that IP address. Okay. If you talk about Alexa, Alexa is secure, no doubt. But if you get the IP address, you can find some data in it, in that memory, right? There is a lot of data which is available. What I asked Alexa, what kind of questions, what I played last music list, what was my music list, do I have any specific music list, did I order something from Amazon, whatever account is logged in, there's a possibility you can get information of that particular account. Okay, so it's not only Alexa IP address I want, I can also go for the mobile application, because I am controlling that device with the mobile application, not only by my voice. I also have the mobile application through which I'm controlling it, right? I can also look for the web application. If there is any web application related to Alexa is there, I can check for that application as well, web application. So to perform testing on IoT, you should have knowledge of different aspects. It's not that if you don't have knowledge for mobile applications, you will not be able to perform IoT testing. No, you can do that. So with time, you need to gain all this knowledge. Only web application, you know only web application, and you think that you will go long in the market? No. First you learn web application, then you learn mobile application. One by one, you need to learn each and everything. You need to have set of information of different devices. Not only one particular specific device testing will work. Okay, any particular device which is connected to the internet, you can perform attack on it. You can learn how to do attack on it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Clear? Anything else you guys want to know? Okay. So in case we can end the session over here. Okay. In case you have any further query, you can connect me on LinkedIn, or you can just email me at this particular email address. Okay. If you want to learn some codes related to web applications, you can connect me over here. My team will connect back with you. I hope the session, whatever sessions we had, was knowledgeable. You guys have learned something from these 2 days, and it was a session which was knowledgeable. Okay. Anything else you guys want to know?
Yeah,
Okay, Ikshita,
Kunal.
over to you.
Yeah, Kunal, thank you so much. The session was really knowledgeable at the same time interesting, both of them. Thank you for all this. And Jasmine, thank you for coordinating with us. And thank you all the guys for joining. Still, if you're having any queries, you can ask, or I'll put in the chat box also the mail ID. So you can.
Yes. And if you need any link, no, you can connect with Ikshita, or just send me message on LinkedIn or email me. I'll share the links with you as well. Okay. Chalo. Okay, guys. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Kunal.
Kunal.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kunal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the session, sir.
Thank you, sir.